you already know, it is that time of the show that you guys have been waiting for. I haven't done this in about 3 weeks. I'm about to lead in on this one. Who has entered the shallow walls of the Hall of Shame this week? Who has been crowned the captain of coonery this week? Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. It is time for Wanksta of the Week. This week's Wanksta of the Week is actually a double. It's a double, actually. At first, it was going to be a single, but based on the recent news that came out following this story, I have now decided to make it a double. A double-double, if you will. I think it should come to us no surprise that this week's Wanksta of the Week has to go to the conglomerates known as H&M. Not only are they getting the Wanksta of the Week, but they are sharing the Wanksta of the Week with a lady by the name of Terry Mango, who is involved in this story. So I'll keep the finger on the pulse on that in a moment. But let's get to H&M first. So if you guys are just tuning in and you have no idea what's happening with H&M, they got into some shit because they put out an ad that featured a young black boy who was wearing a shirt that said, and I quote, "Coolest monkey in the jungle." I'm gonna repeat that one more time. Coolest monkey in the jungle. Now, for those of you who do not understand the racial connotation between black people and monkeys, little quick crash course in history. Monkey, nigger, porch monkey, spirit chucker, these are all terms that were used to degrade black people for at least 400 years, basically. There is a history to this. These are words that were used during the enslavement of black people, during the colonization of Africa, and also the transatlantic slave trade that brought Africans over to what would later be known as North America and South America by nothing of their own will. So, these words were used to demean them, to make them feel less of people. They were actually noted as 3/5 of a man rather than a full-on human being. And these words were used to hurt and enslave, and there was so much power to them that brought them down, basically. So, I'm saying this because those words still have power to this very day. If you call a black person a monkey, then clearly that person has racist intentions within that phrase. You call a white person a monkey, it doesn't really do anything. If you call a white person a cracker, it doesn't really do anything, because at the end of the day, a white person wasn't being enslaved and being called cracker at the same time. So it just makes it makes no difference. So for people who don't understand the backlash, please, I encourage you to do your research and do your readings and ask questions, and then you'll understand why there's such a hoopla about this. Speaking of the hoopla, The Weeknd caught wind of this, as he was one of their ambassadors for H&M, caught wind of this, and he said, "Listen, I'm out. I'm cutting ties with you guys." Beyonce was also an H&M model and spokesperson at one point in time. She caught wind of this. She cut ties. Basically any black person who had anything that had to do with H&M cut their ties, except for one person. And that leads me to that next person, who goes by the name of Terry Mango. Now you're probably asking yourself, who is Terry Mango? That sounds like a delicious beverage that I should drink in the summertime. But no, it is not. It is actually the equivalent of sewage swamp. Because this person, Terry Mango, is the mother of the little black boy who was wearing the hoodie that said "Coolest monkey in the jungle." Now, the reason why I'm giving her Wanksta of the Week is because she condoned, I repeat, condoned the use of the coolest monkey in the jungle sweatshirt on her 6-year-old black boy. Now, you don't believe me? I have the quote right here, ladies and gentlemen, straight from her Instagram page. And this is what she said, and I quote, "That's my son. I have been to all photo shoots, and this was not an exception. Everyone is entitled to their opinion about this. This is one of hundreds of outfits my son has modeled. Stop crying wolf all the time. Unnecessary issue." I'm sorry, bitch, but you're wrong. This is, in fact, a necessary issue, because black people are still going through racism and bigotry to this very day. Just the other day, actually, the very president of the United States said that he doesn't want any refugees from Haiti or Africa or any other quote-unquote shithole countries. So clearly, this still has relevance in 2018, despite the fact that we're coming out with a monumental film in Black Panther next month, and despite the fact that it's Black History Month next month. Jesus Christ. The timing, the lack of awareness, the lack of just being aware overall, basically, just the social ineptitude and the overall lack of presence in mind and just tone-deaf actions of people like Terry Mango. It's sad, because at the end of the day, when you have a black woman who is very rich in melanin, especially, saying these options, not that it makes a difference anyway whether you're dark or light, because you're still black at the end of the day, but the fact that she's condoning this basically just says that she sold her soul to the devil, because that paycheck from H&M must have been very blessed to the fact that she must have forgot about racism. It's like, yeah, boy, you wear that monkey shirt. Next thing you'll know, I'll get you to wear a shirt that says, chains on me all day. Wow. The fact that she just said to leave it alone and that to stop bringing up unnecessary stuff, to stop crying wolf? Come on, man. It's like, I hate it when people of color in particular pretend that racism doesn't exist, or that the best way to counteract racism is to ignore it. No, you're living in a fantasy land if that's what you're thinking. Either that, or you're trying to audition for Fox News. It's one of the two. But nonetheless, I gotta give H&M the big Wanksta of the week, of course, for their idiocy. And by the way, they issued out an apology and they said they're gonna pull the hoodie off of the rack and the picture off and what have you, but it's too little too late. And on top of that, I gotta give Terry Mango just as big of a wankster, because you as a black woman and the parent of a black child who has to face racism day in and day out, or who will have to eventually face racism day in and day out, whether it be on the schoolyard playground, whether it be in a high school classroom, whether it's in the work setting through systemic racism, or God forbid he becomes a product of institutionalized racism if he ever gets arrested and locked up in jail. Hell, he's gonna get profiled by the police at one point in these days. Unfortunately, that is the reality of every black youth. Hell, I got profiled by police at least 3 times before I hit the age of 20. What did you know? But nonetheless, I gotta give these people the wankster. Do you deserve this wankster? Both of you people. Of course. I'm gonna drop it one more time, just like this. Mel, your thoughts, please.
I'm on nobody's side.
Okay.
While I completely agree that the mother should have probably taken more precaution, it is her child and her parenting. So that is all on her. How she tried to shut it down, knowing the obvious racist undertones presented. More like overtones at this point, but like how she decided to shut it down and how she I guess communicated it was a little off with me, because obviously there is a problem. It would have been great if she just been like, hey, yeah, I know that maybe this could have been seen the wrong way and I didn't think about it at the time, or we didn't see it that way at the time, or something like that. But H&M, I don't know what more we expect from these big corporations, these European-owned brands anymore at this point. It's been a thing that, like, black people have their own brands. Support them.
Right.
Don't wait till these things happen to be all up in arms about shit when you're not supporting the person next door to you that's selling fucking shirts or socks even. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I kind of get where the mom's coming from in the sense that maybe it was a little blown out of proportion as far as people's reactions, and a lot of the people that reacted to it were actually very much so hypocrites. A lot of people were saying, using the argument that, like, oh, hey, you know, like, I call my kid Little Monkey, and they're black, white, yellow, whatever the case may be. And they're like, when I say it, I'm obviously not being racist to my own kid. On the parenting side, I could understand that, but on the corporate side, and her decision to advertise her son like that, that is where I'm like, you kind of know you fucked up.
Yeah.
Like you know.
Like you should have known just with the obvious optics, like how that would have looked when you presented it. You know what I mean?
Especially given the image of the white boy.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up as well. He had a shirt that said what, like Survivor of the Jungle or something like that?
Yeah, so what was it? strongest in the jungle or something.
I think it's like Survivor of the Jungle or whatever. So you're basically making it sound like, okay, Black Kid is an ape, and you are the survivor of the environment in which this little ape boy comes from. I mean, they're not even cool shirts to begin with anyway. It's just like, what the hell? Like, you couldn't think of anything better in your marketing department? And like, this just comes to the point where there's an absence of color in those boardrooms, basically. Because if there's at least one Black person who was actually like socially conscious and had like an awareness of these things, then that person would have been quick to shut it down. Well, I don't know if they would have had the power to shut it down, but they would have at least said, yo, this is gonna look bad if you guys put this out there. You can if you want, but I'm letting you know right now, it's not gonna be a good look.
I feel like at this point they're all just like, oh hey, let's see how this goes, like just for fun.
Yeah, you know what? Because like something like that, it's like, how do you not catch that? You know what I mean? Like that must have been a troll job for real. Yeah. I feel bad for any Black people that work for H&M, whether it's in their European branch or their Canadian branch, whatever the case may be. Like, this must be very awkward for them. You know what I mean? It's just like, how do you go to work knowing that this is what they put out? Yeah,
I mean, I guess the Canadians wouldn't feel as bad because, again, obviously the main headquarters are in Europe. Mm-hmm. So they would be in charge of all that. So right. I guess the Canadians wouldn't really, or the North Americans wouldn't really feel as affected by it.
Right.
That's my thought, anyway.
Right. And, you know, I can see it from that point as well. But like, at the same time, it is a brand that encompasses everything. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's like Nike, for example. Like, sure, they have a certain collection they have in their basketball division, and they have a certain collection that they may have in their, let's say, their tennis division that may be completely different from everything else altogether, but it's still under that one umbrella, right? So it's just something that it's brand awareness at the end of the day, right? Like if one branch snaps, then the tree weakens.
Yeah.
Right? So they gotta keep that in mind.